A very good evening to all of you. Good evening, everyone. So, for those who don't know me, good evening, Sanjay. Nice to see you once again. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Manish Mishra. I secured an All India rank of 568 in GATE 2015. And since then, I am teaching for GATE at ESE. I have a cumulative experience of 5 years in teaching, and the subjects that I primarily take are manufacturing science, industrial engineering, operations research, as well as material science. Good evening, Abhishek. Come on, guys, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Join the session, join the session. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you very much for your appreciation. Thank you very much, Abhishek. Where are others? Okay. So let us start this session then. Let us start this session. Guys, let me tell you one thing. For those of you who are preparing right now using the YouTube lecture as well as the special classes, guys, the lectures provided on YouTube and special classes are a good way to continue your preparation. सर YouTube प्लस अनअकैडमी में ये कोर्स कंप्लीट है ना? यस अभिषेक, ये कोर्स कंप्लीट है YouTube प्लस अनअकैडमी मिला के. So guys, let me tell you one thing. Those who are preparing using the YouTube lectures or the Unacademy special free classes, guys, let me tell you one thing. The preparation, whenever one prepares for a competitive examination, the number one mistake that most of the students make is they think in their minds that they just have to study, they just have to learn. Guys, remember, studying and learning is very good. It is the most important part of the preparation. But just by studying, just by learning, you won't be able to reach to the maximum potential in the GATE examination or in whatever examination you plan to compete. You have to have a proper, just by studying and learning, you won't be ready for the competition that you will be facing in the examination hall. So guys, those who are using YouTube lectures and special classes for their preparation, let me tell you one thing. If you really want to compete, is it okay now? Can you hear me? Everyone? Can you hear me? Okay. So guys, I was saying, consider an athlete and a normal person who just keeps his body fit. Remember, fitness is one aspect of being an athlete. Any normal human being can also keep him or herself fit. But the only thing that makes an athlete A competitive athlete is that whenever he prepares for the competition, he follows a completely different regime. He eats differently, he practices differently. So, guys, that is what my entire objective was. Hello, Bharti. All I am saying is that if you are preparing for GATE examination and you want to give everything that you have for the preparation so that you can be extremely competitive in the examination, you can score to the maximum of your potential. Guys, please do make this investment. Go for the Unacademy Plus subscription or for the Iconic subscription, whichever you are in comfortable, whichever you feel comfortable in. Remember, you can always watch live classes on the Unacademy app, crash courses. Now you will ask that, sir, we can watch live classes and crash courses here on YouTube and special classes also. But the difference, guys, the difference in terms of Unacademy live and crash courses is only this much, that on the Unacademy app, you will be joining different batches in which there are group of teachers or sometimes single teachers also taking a single batch. So basically what happened, you have the opportunity to learn from your very favorite teachers, and teachers, they basically provide you with the entire schedule, that on which date or what time which class is going to be. Then every fourth class is basically a doubt solving class. Doubt solving sessions are extremely important whenever you are preparing. Don't even think for a minute that by just learning through YouTube or special classes everything will be okay. If you want to fight, then an Academy Plus subscription is the only way, at least on the online platform. Tests are extremely important. When you are preparing on the Plus portal, every week you will be facing a test, which is very important. It will make you realize how good your preparation is. Don't worry, Ashwin, you can watch the recorded session. Don't worry at all. A very good evening. Abhishek, I have not made any WhatsApp group, but I have definitely made a Telegram channel. Okay. And I will share the link of that channel. So, guys, remember, if you are going to write the GATE examination, go for the Unacademy Plus subscription. And if you are doing that, remember, the Unacademy subscription is available for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, as well as for 24 months. And if you are preparing for this, if you are going for this, use this code triple M10, referral code triple M10. You can also share this code with your friends, relatives, and with aspirants, other aspirants of GATE examination. If you will use this code, you can instantly get a discount of 10% on the subscription fee. So whatever subscription fee will be there, applying the referral code triple M10 will fetch you a discount of 10% instantly. And also remember, my friends, that this triple M10 referral code is valid for the Iconic subscription also. Okay. So now let us move on to the section where we have left the class yesterday. Let us move on to the section where we have left the class yesterday. So for those who are new to this session, we are basically studying industrial engineering and operations research. And in this module, we are dealing with linear programming problem, LPP. Okay, we have already done like 9 chapters in this series, and this is the 10th chapter, linear programming problem. And also in this 10th chapter, we have completed 2 parts. That is the formulation of a linear programming problem as well as the solution or the optimal solution of a LPP via the graphical method. Up to that part we have completed in the last class, that was yesterday. For those who have not attended that class, they can definitely check out the playlist on this very YouTube channel and can benefit from that lecture. In today's class I will be continuing with thank you Ashwin, quite a comment. Usually I don't get this sort of comments that I look handsome. Eh? So let me tell you, I look handsome. So let me tell you guys, let me tell you one thing, that in today's lecture we will be dealing with simplex method. In today's lecture we will be dealing with simplex method. Okay. Another method to obtain the solution of a linear programming problem. And remember, why are we studying the simplex method? Because in the last class I have specifically told you guys that the graphical method is usable, or we can use the graphical method to solve an LPP up to two variables only. Okay, na? Unless and until there are two variables in an LPP, we can solve the LPP using graphical method. But if there are more than two variables like 3, 4, 5, 6, then we definitely have to use the simplex method. Okay. Now let me move on. So guys, I hope every one of you remember this question. I hope every one of you remember this question. Okay. So basically in this question, this was the very first question which we solved using the graphical method. This was the very first question which we solved using the graphical method. Hai. So remember the question, it was something like this, that a company make two products X and Y out of two raw materials A and B. For 1 unit of X it requires 1A and 1B. For 1 unit of Y it requires 1A and 2B. The profit behind 1 unit of X is 3 rupees and for 1 unit of Y is 4 rupees. The availability of raw material A per day is 450 and for raw material B it is 600. Okay? So based on this question, we formulated these set of linear equation, that is the objective function, that is to maximize profit, and the constraint function, and we solved this linear programming problem using the graphical method. And what we have obtained is that the maximum profit will be 1500, and for that 1500 profit we will be making 300 unit of X and 150 units of Y. So up until this part, okay. So remember in the last class we obtained four types of solutions for four different questions. One, it was unique solution, the second it was multiple optimal, then it was unbounded solution, and the fourth was the case of no solution. Now you must be thinking that why sir is again discussing this question. So guys, what I will be doing, today I will be teaching you simplex method. And let me tell you, before I start this lecture, it is a bit odd. I won't say it is difficult or complicated, it is a bit odd. Okay? Because you have to go through a process, a procedure. So when you go through a completely new process or a procedure, it definitely feels odd. Okay? That's why we are doing this. But guys, remember one thing. If we have a linear programming problem with more than two variables, we have no other option. We have to solve that problem with the help of simplex method only. Okay? So what I am going to do, because you are familiar with this question, because we have already solved this question that is on your screen, so I am going to solve this same question with the help of simplex method. And by solving this question with the help of simplex method, I will be guiding you along that why are we taking these steps, why simplex method is doing this or that. And because you are familiar with this question, everyone will be able to understand whatever I will explain via the simplex method. Why I am saying that you are familiar with this question? Because you know the significance of this question. The significance word I am using in this context, that you know that the two products are X and Y. A and B are the two different raw materials. 450 and 600 are the availability of raw material A and B. 3 and 4 is the profit behind 1 unit of X and 1 unit of Y. 1 is the requirement of raw material A and B for 1 unit of X. So basically, my friends, you know the significance of this problem. You know what the terms, the variables in this problem means. So when I will be explaining this very problem to you with the help of the simplex method, and I will be using the relations, the variables, the significance, you will be able to understand. Now let us simply move on to the simplex method. Let us simply move on to the simplex method. Let me write the heading simplex method. Okay. Now, let me just write this problem once again. Let me just write this problem once again, that I have to maximize the profit, that is Z is equal to 3x plus 4y, and it is subjected to constraints x plus y less than equal to 450, x plus 2y less than equal to 600, and x comma y greater than equal to 0. So this is our question. This is our question. Now, the number one thing the simplex method says, if I want to solve this question on the screen with the help of simplex method, the number one thing that the simplex method says, to solve the problem by simplex method, the problem should be written in the standard form. Certain following rules has to be followed to convert a problem into standard form. So the number one thing that the simplex method says is that before you solve a linear programming problem using the simplex method, just make sure that you have converted that problem into standard form. Now what is the meaning of that? Guys, every one of you might have used the calculator. Where is my calculator? Where is my calculator? Here it is. So every one of you might have used the calculator. So in this calculator you must have seen, whenever we go to solve the set of equation, basically what we see that here it is asking me for the inputs in a standard form. The calculator always asks us for the input in the standard form. Okay. So let me explain this. The calculator always asks for the input in the standard form. Okay, na? Whatever way we have written the equation, but the calculator wants the values of the variables or the coefficients in the standard form. So that is basically the criteria for simplex method also. Simplex has made a standard form, and it wants the entire LPP in a standard form so that it can simply use that linear programming problem and straight away start solving it. Okay, so first of all we have to understand how to convert a linear programming problem into standard form for the simplex method. So now rule number one, no unrestricted variable should be there in the standard form. In the standard form, there should not be any unrestricted variable available. We have to eliminate all the unrestricted variable. An unrestricted variable x will be replaced by x dash minus x double dash, where x dash and x double dash are restricted variable. Now what is the meaning of this? First of all, let us understand what is a restricted variable. So as you can see in this very problem, we have two variables, x and y. And you can clearly see that x and y are greater than equal to 0. That means x and y are being restricted in the first quadrant. We are restricting x and y in the first quadrant. डेसिमल पॉइंट सर, एक रिक्वेस्ट थी, आप एक सेशन ले लो ना सर वर्चुअल कैलकुलेटर, मुझे ऑपरेट करने में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है सर, प्लीज. ओके, डेसिमल पॉइंट, I will take your query and I will make a separate lecture on the Unacademy app special class category. where I will be explaining how to use the virtual calculator, because remember, it is very important, because many students face problems. They keep on using the same good old scientific calculator, but remember, in the examination you will face difficulty. Okay, na? So I will take a session on the special class category. Okay, now let me proceed. So as you can see here, that x and y are the two variables in this problem. X and y are the two variables in this problem, and x and y are restricted in the first quadrant. X and y are restricted in the first quadrant. Okay? So this variable, because it is restricted, that means that whatever variable we only have two variables here, and both the variables are restricted. So this problem is already in the standard form considering the first condition. What was the first condition? Just remind you, no unrestricted variable should be there in the standard form. Okay na? So in this question there is no unrestricted variable, all the variables are restricted. Suppose the question would have looked like this. We only have y greater than equal to 0 and nothing about x has been mentioned here. Now basically what happens if x is not greater than equal to 0? Then my friends, x becomes a restricted variable. Don't worry guys, I will make that video. X becomes the restricted variable. I am saying if the question is like this, where it is given that y is greater than equal to 0 but not x, then I am saying, then that will happen. But for remember, the original problem, x is greater than equal to 0. Okay. Now, x is a restricted, x becomes a, where is my eraser? X becomes a unrestricted variable. X becomes a unrestricted variable. It is not restricted. That means x can have any value. Positive, negative, 0, any value. But when I am restricting it, then it means it is in the first quadrant. So x can either be positive or negative. So what to do? We will simply replace x by x dash minus x double dash. Where x dash and x double dash, they both are greater than equal to 0. That means these two variables are restricted. Now what is the meaning of this? Suppose x has a value minus 100. That means x can be in other quadrants also. Besides the first quadrant, it can have negative values. But simplex cannot entertain x. Simplex algorithm is designed in such a way that it will only function in the first quadrant. Simplex algorithm is designed in such a way that it will only function in the first quadrant. Now, because we have replaced x by x dash minus x double dash, and x dash and x double dash are greater than equal to 0, what we will get? We will get a solution of x dash and x double dash, like x dash is 100, x double dash is 200. So solving 100 minus 200, I can get minus 100. I can get the value of x. But these two in itself, x dash and x double dash, they should be restricted, they should be greater than equal to 0. So what the final conversion will look like? The final conversion will look like the profit equation will become 3x dash minus x double dash plus 4y. The constraint would have become x dash minus x double dash plus y less than equal to 450, and this will become x dash minus x double dash plus 2y less than equal to 600, and I will write x dash x double dash y all are greater than equal to 0. So remember, we would have done all these to just simply satisfy the first condition of the standard form, that there should not be any unrestricted variable in the problem. But we do not have to worry about our original problem. In the original problem, both x and y are greater than equal to 0. So this is basically the standard form. Considering the condition number 1. Okay? Otherwise, if x would have been an unrestricted variable, we would have done all this drama. So I hope you all got my point. I hope you all got my point. Hai? So let me proceed, guys. Let me proceed. Now, the second condition, all the constraints should be in the form of equation. All the constraints should be in the form of equation. So right now we have two constraints, x plus y less than equal to 450. Let me just write the constraints here. X plus y less than equal to 450 and x plus 2y less than equal to 600. So these are the two constraints that I have right now. So what basically it says that all the constraints should be in the form of equation. Now guys, remember, this is not equation, this is inequality. Equation simply means equal to type. Okay na? So we will have to convert this into a standard form. So how to convert it into standard form? So this is x plus y less than equal to 450. In order to make it equal to, I will simply have to add a variable on the LHS, because remember the LHS x plus y is the weaker one, is the weaker section. The left hand side is weak, so I will simply add a variable in the left hand side and that will make it 450. Similarly, I will do this here, x plus 2y, and I will add one more variable by s2 and this will become 600. Okay, so we have added two more variables. So as I have written here s1 and s2, so guys, s1 and s2 are called as slack variables. Slack variables or shadow variables. Slack variables or shadow variables. ठीक है, सुनते चलिएगा मेरी बात को ध्यान से. Keep on listening to me. Now, this slack variable and shadow variable. Let me tell you one thing right here, right now. Slack variables or shadow variables are extremely important. They have a huge significance, but that significance I cannot tell you just straight away. है ना? It will not be explanative in its own. So what I will do when I will get the opportunity to explain this slack variable, I will definitely do that. But remember, it is not insignificant, it is of great significance. And basically what the slack variable suggests, that because x plus y can be less than equal to 450. So suppose in some situation x plus y is 300, then that 150 units, that will go to S1 here. That will go to simply S1 here. Okay? Now I will write x, y, S1, S2 all greater than equal to 0. All greater than equal to 0. Okay na? Why I have written this? Because remember, this was the first condition that all the variables present here has to be restricted. So we added two variables, so we are restricting those two variables also in the first quadrant. So I hope it is clear to you up until this point. So let me proceed, my friends. Let me proceed. Now, the third condition says that the right hand side coefficient must be positive. The right hand side coefficient of the constraints must be positive. So these are the constraints. ठीक है ना? Suppose, let me just write this here, x plus y plus s1 is equal to minus 450. Suppose one of my constraint would have looked like this. The right hand side constraint would have been negative. Remember guys, in order to convert into standard form, the third condition is that we must definitely convert the right hand side coefficient into a positive number. So that will make this x plus y plus s1. Because we are converting, this will become minus x. This will become minus y minus s1 is equal to 450. Okay na? So the right hand side coefficient should not be negative. Okay guys, why are we doing all these? You will get each and everything. Okay na? You will understand each and everything. You do not have to worry about this right now. Whatever I am saying, just listen to me and make sure that we must perform these operations so that a linear programming problem can be converted into standard form. Why we have done this? you will get to know each and every point. Now, so basically this problem here in this state, and what was my objective function? My objective function was z is equal to 3x plus 4y. So let me just write that as well. Z is equal to 3x plus 4y, and because 3 and 4 is the profit behind 1 unit of x and y, and we have added two more variables, so I will simply introduce these two variables also in the objective function with a coefficient 0. So basically with a 0 coefficient means they are simply not there. Okay, so now let me move on. Now the conversion into the standard form is complete. Now it simply says that x and y are the decision variables, whereas s1 s2 are the slack variables. Now at this very moment, let me just write this for you. LPP in standard form. So what is our final? 3x plus 4y, 0 s1, 0 s2, and remember we have to maximize this function, and it is subjected to x plus y plus s1 is equal to 450 and x plus 2y plus s2 is equal to 600, and x, y, s1, s2 are all greater than equal to 0. So this is our LPP in the standard form. Now, guys, if you have any doubt up until this point, feel free to ask me, okay? If you have any doubt up until this point, feel free to ask me. Write your doubts in the comment box. I will answer them and then only I will proceed. Okay, na? Because my entire objective is to make you guys understand. Whatever I am delivering here, my entire objective is to make you guys understand. Now let me move on. Okay? So now, we know that x and y are the decision variables, s1 and s2 are the slack variables. Now why x and y are called as decision variables? Because remember, by solving this problem, we have to find the value of x and y only. We want the value of x and y so that we can decide how much quantity of x we should make, how much quantity of y should make, so that we can make maximum profit. So basically x and y, on the basis of x and y, I have to make the decision. So they are called as decision variables. And S1 and S2 are called as slack variables. But my friends, simplex algorithm do not know about this. Simplex algorithm has no idea what is a decision variable, what is a slack variable. X and y can be decision variable to you, S1, S2 can be slack variable to you. But simplex, it simply has no idea. Simplex algorithm knows only this much, that variables are of two types, either basis or non-basis. It can classify the variables in these two categories only, either basis or non-basis. Now let me just tell you what are basis and non-basis variables. Just by considering the name basis, you can understand on the basis of, based on. Okay, so basis and non-basis variable. What is basis, non-basis? So remember, the value of a basis variable is equal to the number of equation. The number of basis variables that will be there, it will be equal to the number of equations. What is the meaning of this? I have two equations. That means I will be having two basis variables, first of all. Then the value of basis variable is calculated by solving the equation. Now I have the basis variables. I know that I have two equations. from these two equations I will be having two basis variable. Now what about the value of those basis variable? That will be obtained by solving these equations. How I will do that? How we will do that? I will explain each and everything to you. Do not get confused. Do not get confused. Okay. Now, variables which are not basis are non-basis. Simple. Variables which will be non-basis are non-basis variable, which are not going to be basis, they will be non-basis. And the value of non-basis variable is 0. Value of non-basis variable is 0. Okay. So let me move on, tell you some more points. From each equation, one variable will be basis for the initial iteration. For every equation, one variable will be basis variable for the initial iteration. The equation where artificial variable is present, artificial variable will become the basis variable, otherwise slack variable will be basis. Now let me just mark this point in red color. It is an important point. If you are writing these points down, do mark this point in red color. Okay. Decision variable cannot be basis variable for the initial iteration. What these points are, you don't have to bother about anything. I will be explaining each and everything again and again so that it can get stick inside your mind. Decision variables cannot be basis variable for the initial iteration. In simplex method, iterations are performed from one vertex of the feasible region to the other till the optimal solution is obtained. Now let me tell you all of this. Whatever I have written, let me just explain each and everything to you. Now at this very moment, my friends, we have four variables: x, y, s1, s2. Now because simplex do not understand what is decision variable, what is slack variable, so what simplex basically tells us that, listen to me very carefully, simplex basically tells you that simplex is going to perform iterations. Simplex is going to perform iterations. Now what are iterations? Remember this question. Remember this question. In this question, we found one feasible region, and then I explained one point to you that the optimal solution will always be obtained at the vertex point of the feasible region, because the vertex points are the farthest points. So remember, the optimal solution will always be obtained at the vertex point of the feasible region. So what simplex method is saying, that simplex method will be performing iterations, and by performing iterations it means that simplex method will automatically be checking the values of the objective function at the vertices point of the feasible region. You do not have to find any feasible region at all. Simplex algorithm just function in such a way that by performing iterations, it simply checks the objective function at the vertices points of the feasible region. So let's say this vertex point is 0, 0. Here x is 0, y is 0, the profit is 0. So what simplex will do, it will simply perform the first iteration at the origin. Simplex will simply perform the first iteration at the origin, and then with this first iteration, simplex will tell you whether this solution 0, 0, this feasible solution, because remember simplex is checking the values at the vertices points of the feasible region, and the vertices points of the feasible region are feasible solution. So simplex is basically checking the values at the origin, the feasible solution at a vertex point, by performing the first iteration. So what simplex will tell me, that whether this feasible solution via the first iteration is an optimal solution or not. Simplex will tell me whether this is optimal or not. If it will be optimal, it will stop me. It will not let me allow to move on to the second iteration. But if this solution is not optimal, simplex will simply take me to this second point. What was this second point? Let me just check this point. What was this second point? It is 0 comma 300. 0 comma 300. So simplex will perform a second iteration here. And simplex will again check whether this feasible solution is optimal or not. If it is, then simplex will simply indicate me, and if it will be not, then simplex will take me to the third iteration. And it will keep on taking me from one iteration to the other iteration unless we find the optimal solution. So basically, simplex algorithm is designed in such a way that it straight away checks the solution at the vertices points of the feasible region. But before all this, let us understand the process of how to perform these iterations. What are these iterations? How to perform them? So what simplex method says, just simply tell me that for the first iteration that I am going to perform, which variables are basis and which variables are non-basis. It is us who have to decide that. For simplex, it is us who have to decide that. That for the first iteration, initial iteration, which variables are going to be basis and which are going to be non-basis. Now, name suggests that basis variable simply means on the basis of which we will be taking our decisions, on the basis of which simplex will take its decisions. Now, the process, the rule says that whatever the number of equations you have, so we have two equations here, that number of variables will be there in the basis column. And every equation, every constraint equation will contribute one basis variable. Will contribute one basis variable for the first iteration. So remember, one basis variable will come from this iteration, one will come from this constraint. Now, rule number 2 says, for the first iteration, my friends, decision variables cannot be basis. For the first iteration, decision variables cannot be basis. So remember, x and y are our decision variables. We cannot choose x and y as the basis variable for the first iteration. So simply put x and y under the non-basis column. Because remember, if a variable is not basis, it will be non-basis. So because x and y are not going to be the basis variables for the first iteration, because they are decision variables, they go to the column of non-basis, they become non-basis variables. And let me just tell you this point one more, value of non-basis variable is 0. So guys, remember this point, that because x and y are non-basis, their value is 0, 0. Now, as we have decided from this constraint, we will take one variable as basis variable. So x and y cannot be basis for the first iteration. So from here s1 will be the basis, and from here s2 will be the basis. So this is our final selection for the first iteration. This is our final selection for the first iteration. And remember guys, what was the first iteration? First iteration is simply simplex algorithm checking the value at the origin, that is x0, y0, and basically by keeping x and y as non-basis, I have kept x as 0, y as 0, and simplex is going to check the value at the origin point. So now you know why we cannot take decision variables as basis variable for the first iteration, because their value has to be 0. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to every one of you? Let me proceed. So now whatever point I have discussed, I have explained those points. Now, let us come to the first iteration. Let us come to the first iteration. So, how to perform the first iteration? Simply write first iteration. For the first iteration, we have already selected that x and y are 0 and s1 and s2 will be bases. So let me just write that x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Here we are checking the values. How to check the values? Simply write CB, CJ, basis. Write all the variables that are there, x, y, s1, s2, as well as b. What is b? I will tell you what is b. B is this value, the right hand side coefficient. Okay? Now, just simply fill the value for Cj. What is Cj? Coefficient of basis variable in the objective function. Eliminate this basis, guys. Cj is coefficient of variables in the objective function. Coefficient of variables in the objective function. So check out this. This is my objective function. And these are the variables here, x, y, s1, s2, their coefficients, that is 3, 4, 0, 0. So let me just write that. So for x, 3, y, 4, s1, s2, 0, 0. Now what are the basis variable? That I have already selected, that the two variables will be basis and those two are s1 and s2. Now what is CB? CB is the coefficient of basis variable in the objective function. CB is the coefficient of basis variable in the objective function. So again, basis variables are S1 and S2. So S1, S2, their coefficients are 0 and 0. Their coefficients are 0 and 0. So let me just write their coefficients under the CB column, that is 0 and 0. CB is the coefficient of basis variable in the objective function. CJ is simply the coefficient of variables in the objective function. I hope it is clear up until this point. Now what I am going to do, I am going to write these constraints. So x plus y plus s1 is equal to 450. The coefficients of x, y and s1 are 1, 1, 1. So let me just simply write that 1, 1, 1. S2 is not there in the first constraint, so 0. And the value of b is 450. The value of b is 450. Similarly, I am going to write the second constraint 1, 2, 0, 1, 600. So I hope up until this point it is clear for each one of you. Up until this point it is perfectly clear for each one of you. Let me proceed, guys. So now what I am going to do, I am going to write Zj. What is Zj? Zj is nothing, guys. Zj is nothing but our profit. Okay, that is Z. So how to calculate Zj? So I will be simply multiplying 0 into 1, 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1. 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1. So 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1 is 0. Again 0 into 1 plus 0 into 2 is 0. So everything getting multiplied by 0 basically becomes 0. And 0 into 450, 0 into 600 also becomes 0. So what it is suggesting? Let me tell you this. Because x and y are 0, x is 0, y is 0 at the origin. Therefore, the profit at the origin is also 0. So this value z can be checked under the b column. It is coming as 0. And remember guys, we have kept x 0, y 0. So s1 will be equal to 450 and s2 will be equal to 600. Okay, na? So again you can check that in the b column here, s1 has a value of 450 and s2 has a value of 600. I hope this is clear to each one of you. I hope this is clear to each one of you. Now what I am going to do, simplex has basically provided me with the objective solution at origin. Now whether this feasible solution 0 comma 0, that is the vertex point of the feasible region, it is an optimal solution or not, I have not been informed by simplex yet. Simplex is yet to inform me about that, and for that simplex asked me to calculate Cj minus Zj. So what is Cj minus Zj? What is Cj minus Zj? Cj is 3, Zj is 0. So 3 minus 0 is 3. Now 4 minus 0 is 4. 0 minus 0, 0. Again 0 minus 0, 0. Okay? Now. Simplex has calculated Cj minus Zj. Now what? Now consider this situation with an analogy, with an example. So the example is such that S1 and S2 are Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. S1 and S2 are Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. Okay? S1, S2 are Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. Now, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan are playing 450 and 600 balls. Rohit Sharma is playing 450 balls. Shikhar Dhawan has played 600 balls. And by facing every ball, they are making 0 run. So, whatsoever number of balls they face, no matter how many balls they face, by playing every ball, they are making 0 runs. 0 runs. So basically, because of Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, resource, that is balls are getting wasted. Resource, that means balls are getting wasted, and the team score is still 0. The team score is still 0. Now in the Cj minus Zj row that we have obtained, corresponding to variable x I am getting 3 and corresponding to variable y I am getting 4. Remember, these are S1, S2, they are already inside the table. Reconsidering them, they already have contributed whatever they can. So for them it is 0, 0 here. But for x it is 3, for y it is 4. Now what is this 3, what is this 4? Consider variable x as Virat Kohli. Yes, Rebel King, hello. And consider variable y as Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So consider variable x as Kohli, y as Dhoni. Now Kohli is making promise that he will score 3 runs. He will score 3 runs by playing 1 ball. If you will give Kohli a chance to face 1 delivery, 1 ball, Kohli will make 3 runs on every ball faced. Remember, right this moment, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma have played so many balls, but they are making 0 runs at every ball. But now, Kohli is saying that if you will let me bat, if you will let me go inside and bat, I will make 3 runs on every ball faced. And Dhoni is promising that he will score 4 runs. He will hit every ball for 4. So basically, Dhoni and Kohli are indicating me that they can increase the team score. And remember, my friends, that is my objective. My objective is to maximize Z, increase the team score. Yes, bad girl, क्या बात करनी है? Tell me. Rebel king, what you want to say? सुनो, guys, keep on listening. So remember the question. Just remember the original question. What was the original question? अरे X and Y are my products. I will make 3 rupees profit behind 1 unit of X and 4 rupees profit behind 1 unit of Y. S1, S2 is nothing for me. They are giving me no profit at all. So here X is saying that if you will allow me to use raw material A and B, right now you are exhausting the resources on S1, S2, giving all the A, all the B to S1, S2, which are not giving any profit. But if I will make 1 unit of X with the help of raw material A and B, raw material A and B, then X can fetch me a profit of 3 rupees, whereas Y can fetch me a profit of 4 rupees. 1 unit. So all I said that Virat Kohli and Dhoni is promising me that if I will let them play one delivery, they will make 3 runs and 4 runs respectively. Can increase my team score. Now what to do? Simply make the decision कि भैया धोनी should go inside and bat. Simply make this decision that Dhoni should go inside and bat. That means because Dhoni is making 4 runs on every ball faced, let us give the chance to Dhoni to go inside and bat. But remember, if Dhoni will go inside and bat, only 2 people can bat at once, can perform batting at once. So definitely if Dhoni will go inside, someone, either Rohit Sharma or Shikhar Dhawan, has to leave, has to exit. So basically Dhoni will replace someone, and if Dhoni is wanting to replace someone, I will have to find the replacement ratio theta. So guys, remember theta is called as the replacement ratio. Replacement ratio. Theta is basically small b by small a. What is small b? Are small b is this re baba. And what is small a? Let me just tell you. As I have selected that Dhoni should go inside and bat, then at that very moment, this whole column becomes the key column. Now, the values corresponding to S1 and S2 under this key column, that is 1 and 2, these are the values of small a. So let me write down that as well. These are the values of small a. So how we will calculate theta then? Theta is b by a. So b is 450, a is 1. So basically 450 by 1 we will get 450. 600 by 2 we will get 300. So these are the two values of theta. Now remember, theta is called as replacement ratio. Theta will let me know that if Dhoni will go inside and bat, then out of Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan, who should exit? Who should get out? Always remember, make sure that you throw out the one which has the lesser value of theta. For this point, I am saying this statement. Make sure that you make that variable the exit variable which has the lesser value of theta. So this has 450, this is 300, this is lesser. So just make sure that this goes up. Why I am saying this, I will explain, but not now. I will explain, but not now. Don't bother about that. So let me do the job first. Let me do the job first. As theta for S2 is less, S2 will simply become the leaving variable, the exit variable. At this moment, this is has become the key column and Y has become the entering variable. Dhoni will go inside and bat. He will enter, becomes the entering variable, and S2, that is Rohit Sharma, sorry, Shikhar Dhawan, whatever the name was, I forgot. He should become the exit variable. He should go out, leave the system, becomes the leaving variable or the exiting variable. Now, now. Let me proceed. So, guys, what's the time now? So, guys, as you can see, time is over. है ना? Time is already over. Every day we get only this much time on YouTube. If we go at this pace, the entire GATE syllabus will take 2 years to complete. But what to do? But what to do? That is the limitations of these free sessions. If we are conducting free sessions, then there has to be certain limitations. Because remember, throughout the day, every teacher that is teaching on this YouTube channel, they go live at their own respective times. And because of which everybody is allotted certain duration. Okay. So guys, I will have to stop this lecture right here. But remember, the first iteration is not yet over. In tomorrow's class, I will be giving you a quick revision of the first iteration and then we will be continuing from here. I will be letting you know how to make the second iteration. Why to make the second iteration, that I will also tell you. So remember, tomorrow's class is going to be very, very important because if you have invested 1.5 hours in this class to reach up to this point, to know about the first iteration, to know about the simplex method, then do invest your time in tomorrow's lecture also so that you can learn how to make the second iteration or to completely understand the simplex algorithm or the simplex method. So that's it for today's session, my friends. That's it for today's session. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. On the Unacademy Plus, a new batch by the name of Evolve for GATE 2022. A completely new batch for GATE 2022 is going to start on the 28th of December by one of the renowned faculties, renowned educators on the Unacademy platform. Aditya Gupta sir, Jitendra Gill sir, Praveen Kulkarni sir, Akash Tyagi sir and Rajiv Singh sir. They are going to be in charge of this batch. They will be teaching in this batch. You can go check out their profile. You can go check out this Evolve batch for GATE 2022 on the Unacademy app. This batch is going to be for mechanical stream students and this is going to be the first batch for the year 2022. It is going to be both in English and Hindi and remember it is going to start on 28th of December. But guys, the thing is that if you want to enroll in this batch, if you want to study from these star educators, then remember you will have to first go for the Unacademy Plus subscription. I have already explained to each one of you that YouTube classes and special classes are there to help the needy ones, are there to make you guys realize that GATE is a very easy examination and you can easily study for these examinations. But it is not a complete learning platform. The learning platform is the Unacademy app, especially the Plus, Unacademy Plus, or the Unacademy Iconic. I have already discussed with you guys the benefits of the Unacademy Plus and the Iconic subscriptions. If you want to have a full-fledged preparation, if you want to prepare for the competitive examination, you have to have the proper tools for that. And that you can only get on the Unacademy Plus subscription. So make sure you do this investment. Make sure you take the Plus subscription. And when you do that, remember to use my referral code MMM10. This can fetch you a discount of 10% across all the subscriptions available on the Unacademy platform. Whether it is a month subscription, a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month, 18 or the 24-month subscription. The same referral code is applicable for the Iconic package also. This referral code will work to fetch you a discount of 10% across all the categories. So that's it for today's session, my friends. That's it for today's session. I will see you all in the morning at 9 a.m. where I will be continuing metal cutting. In the morning class today, we have completed metal cutting up to the economics of machining topic, and I will be continuing my lecture tomorrow in the morning at 9 a.m. after economics of machining. So at the start of the lecture, we will be solving some very beautiful numericals. And this 9 a.m. class, my friends, it is going to be on the Unacademy Learning app. And if you want to watch my class, simply download and install the Unacademy Learning app. Choose your goal. And what is your goal? GATE and ESE. And simply click on the search icon and type Manish Mishra, my name. You will see this profile there with my photograph. Simply click on this follow tab, follow me tab. Simply click on this follow me tab. Just by following me, you will get a message that enter an invite code to unlock your free plan. Remember guys, the special classes available on the Unacademy app are completely free, absolutely free. But in order to take benefit from those lectures, you will have to unlock your free plan, and that can be done by using the referral code MMM10. So the MMM10 code, remember, can fetch you a discount of 10% across the Plus subscription and the Iconic subscription. But this MMM10 code will also unlock your free experience on the Unacademy app. So do this guys so that you can watch my content. So remember, tomorrow morning 9 a.m. I will be continuing with the manufacturing 2020 series in which I am currently taking metal cutting. So guys, do join this session. It will be a 2-hour session from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Those who are appearing for GATE 2021, it is a must for them. You can revise the entire manufacturing through this. And guys, definitely I will see you all at 9:15 p.m. on the YouTube channel Unacademy GATE Mechanical PIXI tomorrow. Same time, 9:15. So guys, if you haven't yet followed me on the Unacademy Learning app, please follow me by checking out my profile. And this is the link of my Telegram channel. If you haven't yet joined my Telegram channel, please do so, because remember, the PDF notes of my YouTube classes, whatever I am giving you in form of slides, I will share this on this very Telegram channel. So if you want to have the notes and PDF, go check out this link, join my Telegram channel. That way you can get all the PDFs and lectures, notes of these classes. And also I will be sharing some interesting questions, some booklets, some practice question papers there on this Telegram channel. So yes guys, That's it for today's session. Thank you all for watching me. Please like, share and subscribe this video. I will see you all tomorrow. Tab tak ke liye tata. Bye bye. Good night.